I would like to call to order the Monday, March 18th meeting of the Monona City Council. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Groupie?
Here.
Alder Moore?
Here.
Alder Spate?
Here.
Alder Wood?
Here.
Alder Kitzlar?
Here.
Alder Coor?
Here.
Mayor O'Connor?
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the March 4th meeting?
So moved. Second.
Any corrections or additions?
I have one correction.
Alder Coor?
On bear with me here. It's page 3, paragraph 3. Alder Kerr urged members to contact the legislators because the governor's budget renewed this urge for 2 years, not the usual 5. It's actually 10. I misspoke.
It's 5 should be replaced with 10?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Appearances. Joan, did you have the resolution for me?
I do.
And do we have a representative from Meals on Wheels? Said she'd come up here. We have a resolution, and I'll just read it here. And
Where would you like?
you could just stand. I'm just going to be reading it from here. If you want to just stand right here, it's fine. Thank you. We have a proclamation regarding Meals on Wheels. Whereas on March 22nd, 1972, President Richard Nixon signed into law a measure that amended the Older Americans Act of 1965 and established a national nutrition program for seniors 60 years and older. And whereas Meals on Wheels America established the National March for Meals campaign in March 2002 to recognize the historic month, mark the importance of Older Americans Act, senior nutrition programs, and raise awareness about senior hunger in America. And whereas the 2019 observance of the March for Meals campaign provides an opportunity to support senior nutrition programs that deliver vital and critical services. And whereas Independent Living Incorporated, a multi-service nonprofit organization based in Dane County and serving Monona, has provided senior meal programs since its founding in 1973 and is celebrating the 30th anniversary of providing evening Meals on Wheels. And whereas volunteer drivers for both Meals on Wheels programs, who donate hundreds of hours of service each year, are the backbone of the programs, delivering nutritious meals to homebound seniors and adults with disabilities, as well as an important safety check on their well-being. And whereas Meals on Wheels programs everywhere are committed to alleviating hunger among older adults regardless of their ability to pay for a meal. And whereas a nutritious meal helps seniors and adults with disabilities avoid premature or unnecessary institutionalization. And whereas Meals on Wheels programs deserve recognition for the contributions made to seniors in Monona. And whereas Meals on Wheels provide a powerful socialization opportunity for seniors to help combat loneliness and isolation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mary Kay O'Connor, Mayor of the City of Monona, Wisconsin, do hereby proclaim March 2019 as March for Meals Month in the City of Monona, and urge every citizen to take time this month to honor Meals on Wheels and congregate meal sites, the seniors they serve, and the volunteers who serve them. With this recognition, we honor our community and help combat senior hunger and isolation in Monona and America. Signed in the City of Monona, Dane County, Wisconsin, this 18th day of March 2009, or 2019, 10 years behind the Mary Kay O'Connor, Mayor. And this gentleman is representing Meals on Wheels?
Yes, I'm Rob Severson.
Okay.
I'm the manager of the Meals on Wheels program for Independent Living Incorporated.
Great.
And I want to thank you all for making the proclamation. As you well know, the Meals on Wheels program would not exist without volunteers and a strong community. And I'm real proud to say that we have a very robust number of folks in Monona who partake of our program. And nutrition cannot be overvalued in terms of keeping somebody who's vulnerable in their home. One of the greatest risks there are due to poor nutrition is falls. And if somebody who is a little on the older side of spring chickenry suffers a tumble, it can be catastrophic. So thank you for your support of the Meals on Wheels program. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you for making it available in Monona, and this is for you to keep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yep. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, we don't have any other appearances, do we?
No.
Okay. There is no public hearing. Next item is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Council action items. Under unfinished business, 1A, consideration of resolution 19-3-2329, approval of a cost-sharing agreement between the City of Madison and the City of Monona for the reconstruction of Bridge Road, and this is put forth by the Public Works Committee. Is there a motion to approve this?
Move approval.
Is there a second? Dan?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. The only thing to add from the first reading is the March 6th Public Works Committee did approve this agreement as well. And then following up on a question that was raised at the first meeting is Humber going to be recycling the asphalt material? And they're going to recycle 100% of the asphalt. It's going to be reused on the project. So just those are the only two updates from the first reading.
Any questions? Anyone? Joan, do you need a roll call on this?
Their dollar amount, yes. Thank you.
Will you please call the roll?
All righty. Alder Core?
Aye.
Alder Groupie? Aye. Alder Moore?
Alder Moore? Wonderful, Alder Moore. I think Alder Moore got cut off.
Okay. Alder Spate?
Aye.
Alder Wood?
Aye.
Alder Kitzler?
Aye.
Motion passes. I guess I will try Alder Moore one more time. So hang on a minute. Yeah.
Hello, you've reached Nancy Moore, NW.
Okay, I guess we have a quorum, so. Okay, next item is 19-3-2330, approval of design proposal for Winnequa Road Bridge. Is there a motion to approve this?
Move to approve. Second.
Dan?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. This is back for the second read as well tonight. This also received the approval recommendation from the March 6th Public Works Committee. The impact for the 2019 capital budget is $73,130, and the 2020 capital budget impact is $16,320, and the proposal cost is $89,450.
Are there any questions? Hearing none, let's see, I think we need a roll call for this, Joan.
Yes. Alder Kitzler?
Aye.
Alder Core?
Aye.
Alder Groupie?
Aye.
Alder Moore is not, I guess we're going to assume absent.
Yeah.
Okay. Alder Spate?
Aye.
Alder Wood?
Aye.
Motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Item 19-3-2331, proclaiming May as Historic Preservation and Archaeology Month. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Doug, are you going to, or who's going to address
Yeah,
this?
sure. I
Okay.
don't have really anything to add from the last time, other than just to, I guess, reaffirm we're working on putting together a dedication ceremony that will be held here at the library. Sierra and Ryan and the library staff and myself will be working on that. We don't want to have the dedication on site because there's not room in order to do it safely. And that will be sometime in the month of May.
Okay, we don't have a date yet. Is that correct?
We do not.
Okay. Any questions, discussion? Alder Corr?
Are we inviting members from the nation to be there?
Yes.
Anything
Yeah,
else?
we're hoping to have a representative of the tribe be one of the speakers.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business, item 2A, consideration of resolution 19-3-2336, resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of $6 million in general obligation promissory notes, Series 2019A, put forth by the finance director, and this is starred for immediate approval. Is there a motion to take this out of order?
Move to suspend the rules and take this out of order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Mark?
Yeah, before Jeff comes up here to talk, this resolution, so last meeting, we approved Jeff Wanji to, our financial advisor, to start negotiating to borrow for us the $6.6 million. Jeff is back here now with the actual, working with the bondholders and with the final amounts on the final rates. And so this $6 million is our capital project. This is the water, general fund, water, TIF, and also for a settlement that we had approved last meeting. So Jeff went out and got our rates, and I'll let him talk.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. Mark and I have worked quite closely in terms of, as we always do, in terms of our amortization and how we like to pay these things back. So we've come up with obviously a final amortization schedule. I know sometimes maybe it gets a little frustrating for you when you take a look at your initial resolution. You're one of the few cities in the state that I know of that has 2 readings on these particular things, and that can be a positive, and it also can be kind of confusing because during that time period, Mark and I are going through some gymnastics in terms of calculating where those amounts need to be. Sometimes amounts change, and as I think a lot of you know, in the past you have added or subtracted projects at the last minute, which is fine, but sometimes causes a little frustration in terms of why don't we have the exact resolution 2 weeks before we have the sale, where there's a number of reasons for that, and we'll talk a little bit about that because I know there were some questions. But first of all, I want to congratulate the city once again. We've worked hard since Mark has been here and over the years in terms of upgrading our credit. And you've done a great job at doing that. We've gone from an A when I started with the city to a AA+, outstanding ratings. And you've, as this particular council and previous councils and administration has really paid attention to that credit. So you're to be commended for this. I know I say it, or I try to say that every time we're here, but it can't be stressed enough from my standpoint in terms of getting you into an interest rate market where you can compete with the best credits anytime in any market. So ought to applaud yourself either now or later on because it is really appreciated. With that, again, I'd like to thank Mark because he's certainly an integral part of that. He does handle all of the questions that Standard & Poor's has during that call, and we obviously direct them in a positive manner. So, with that, I have before you 2 sheets. I'd like to get this down to just as simple as we can. If you look at the sales result sheet first, as you know, we've gone out with $6 million in par amount. That's the amount of money that you will have delivered to you to use for the various projects in your CIP, including some TID projects, storm water, wastewater, and water projects that you're undertaking. During the marketing of that $6 million, we find in this particular interest rate environment, and we've seen it for some time, it's not the first premium that's been delivered to the city in terms of marketing. There are buyers out there, obviously, who worry that interest rates are going to go up. They expect them to go up. I kind of laugh a little bit because even though the Fed has bumped the discount rate twice since November, rates have gone down on the municipal side. So they shouldn't be too fearful, but eventually they're going to go up, I would think. So what happens is these buyers request that they pay premiums into the deal. In other words, they pay a higher price than what the yield dictates to them. And they do so knowing full well that they could, wanting to get out of a particular position later on in a different interest rate environment, they could have the interest rates erode the value of that security that they bought. Does that make sense to you? As the interest rates go up, that value that they bought it at could be eroded. So they ask for what is called coupon protection. We're fine with that. We deliver to a certain extent. Not all premium is good. And I'll explain that to you when we look at these comparables in terms of coupons which dictate your cash flows, or in other words, our levy. So even though we get a premium, in this case it's $133,600.50, that's all well and good, and that's generated on cash flows at coupons that for you are 3s, 2s, and 3s. And you'll see that in your in the next handout that we look at. That's a lot better than paying 4s, although right now buyers want 4s. They would like to have probably doubled this premium and paid us $260,000 as an example. We don't want that. The reason we don't want that is because we have to then fit it into our levy. And Mark and I had targeted a particular levy for debt service so that each year we don't have peaks and valleys in terms of our debt service levy. Follow me? So we said, no, we're going to keep this at 3s, work hard, find these buyers at these particular yields, and made it a little more difficult on the sales force in terms of finding those particular buyers, but they came through and did, I think, an excellent job. When you take all of that into account and all the expenses that we paid for the rating, for the legal fees, for the underwriting, all of those particular things, and you melt that down into our 9-year financing, which has an average life of a little over 6.4 years, we come up with an interest rate of 2.582%, all inclusive. Pretty nice. We've had a couple of years, maybe in 2010, 11, that were a little bit less. I know we've had some that were under 2. Certainly unusual in my 38 years in this business that we saw that, but I know Chad remembers a few of those, and so do the rest of you. So certainly a great underwriting. If you will, let me take you to give you some data as to why I think it was such a good underwriting for us. If you look at the real columns you want to look at are the YTW column and then the spread next to it, SPR column. Does everyone see those? Keep in mind also that we have a 10-1 maturity. The comparable next to us, which is the Village of Brown Deer, has a 4-1 maturity, which means it's 6 months shorter. I think we all know if we put our investment out in, say, a CD for 6 months versus 12 months, we better get a better rate of return on the 12 month than on the 6 months. There's 6 months difference. So taking that into account, it makes us a little harder on us when you look at 4-1s versus 10-1s. But we obviously did incredibly well. If you look at the yields of a 1.73%, that's the price for the 10-1 2020 maturity. Does everyone see that? We're 15 basis points off what was deemed at the end of yesterday a perfect scale. If you look at the next maturity, it's a 175, and we're 16 basis points off that perfect. Nobody gets perfect, by the way. Let me clarify that. There's no perfects out there. And if you look at dropping the 2028, we're at a 233. We're 14 basis points off perfect. You can make those comparisons. keep in mind, I'll take you to the coupon to the immediate left, 3% twice, 2% twice, and then 3%, everyone see that? Compare that with the 4% that the others were marketed at. Paid bigger premiums, but remember, they're being charged those principal amounts at that higher, 1% higher rate, which means they're gonna pay higher debt service than we would on that comparable maturity. So for us, if you get anything out of this little discussion, it's that there's no true apples to apples. I mean, our issue is specific to us. It's something we needed in terms of, one, getting our money at the cheapest cost we could get it at in this market, and yet making those cash flows work for us. Follow me? And otherwise, all the work that Mark and I did going into this, if we'd have said, okay, 4%, it throws all of the calculations we did in terms of targeting our annual debt service, throws them off. So, but again, at 258, I'll take that any day for 10-year paper. I don't care what market we're in. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. Once again, I want to thank Mr. Hotaker for all of his help. I do enjoy working with Mark. He happens to be a lot of fun with this stuff. So, and if you're going to work, you might as well have fun, right?
Yeah. Anybody have any questions? This was approved at Finance and Personnel earlier. Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Wood.
Aye.
Alder Kitzler.
Aye.
Alder Kuhr.
Aye.
Alder Groupie. Alder Spate.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Thank you, Jeff and Mark,
Thank you.
for putting this together. Next, item 2B, consideration of ordinance 3-19-715, amending chapter 395-8 of the Code of Ordinances concerning the removal of snow and ice from sidewalks, put forth by the Public Works Committee. Dan.
Thank you, Mayor. You should have the copy of the ordinance amendment. And I also passed out a few pictures in front of you before the meeting. This is before you, so we can add, a request to add the crosswalk ramps in with our sidewalk snow and ice removal ordinance. If you want to go right to the red line, the markup version, it's probably easier to see what's being added to the ordinance. Mainly, it's just as it says here, the crosswalk ramps / openings. And I believe this stems from a concern from code enforcement. Not really quite sure if this ordinance has teeth for them to enforce the clearing of the crosswalk ramps, because the current code says sidewalks. So we took it to Public Works on March 6th. We do have the recommended approval for you. And as you can see by the photo, the median is clear. Our staff does that. This is 2 different locations. And you see a good example of the crosswalk ramps on the far side of the photo. And we do have residents and pedestrians throughout the city that need these ramps to be open. There's a number of them that use the motorized carts to get around. They can't get through here. So the recommendation is in front of you to amend the ordinance to add crosswalk ramps and openings.
Any questions? Molly?
Is there any sort of provision in the ordinance or elsewhere in our ordinances that provides for a person who's incapable, for a physical or other disability, who is not able to shovel or do their portion of snow removal? Is there any way they can contact Public Works or any sort of appeal process there?
We don't offer a service. They would probably have to hire a private contractor to do the clearing for them.
Okay.
Anything else? Andrew?
Are bump outs considered a sidewalk? Because I had a resident reach out to me and complain about the bump outs not being clear.
Yeah, this winter, in previous winters, I believe we did a decent job getting them. We have a new person on that road this year. They've been, I think we went out last Monday to clear them, but some were cleared, some were not.
Okay.
Hopefully after next year, there won't be a problem anymore. But
Okay.
we are responsible for that.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
Anything else? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next item, 2C, consideration of Resolution 19-3-2334, approving a proposal for replacement of the police records management system This is put forth by the police chief and is starred for immediate approval. Is there a motion to take this out of order?
Move to take the item out of order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion to approve?
Approval.
Second.
Okay, Wally?
Our partners with our multi-jurisdictional police public safety information system, MPSIS, which consists of Middleton, Sun Prairie, Fitchburg, Verona, and Monona, we're mandated by the federal government to update our record system by how we keep track of crimes by January 1st of 2021. So our current record system has reached the end of its useful lifespan. The group had formed a committee to put out an RFP, and they studied different proposals from different vendors. The proposal that they found most acceptable was from Zerker Technologies LLC, which was the lowest cost and also best meets the needs of the 5 agencies. The total cost of this project is just under $500,000, $494,351. The Monona portion, because it's based on population, we're just over 8%, so our portion is about $40,525, and they're requesting that we pay half in 2019 and the other half in 2020. We did budget $20,000 in 2019 in the capital budget, and we were requesting the balance in the 2020 capital budget. So we're requesting this be approved. If we can get this signed before April 1st, the group will get a $40,000 discount, which is reflected in that price, and we will also be able to stop paying for our current records management system for maintenance, which is another $75,000.
Any questions? No?
I had one, I guess.
Doug?
The $75,000 savings by not making the next payment to the other one, was that already, did we assume that in budgeting, that was going to happen?
The MPSIS group, that was money that was in the budget. That would be money that would be in the budget for 2020 if we had to pay that money. We're not, right now, we're just in 2019.
Okay.
So that's
So it's not-
2020 money
all
that
right.
we'll be saving.
Okay.
Because at that point, but based on the timeline, we should be actually converting over in early 2020.
Okay.
Anything else? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Spade?
Aye.
Alder Wood?
Aye.
Alder Kitzler?
Aye.
Alder Coor?
Aye.
Alder Groupie?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Item D, consideration of resolution 19-3-2335, purchase approval of 2 police vehicles, also put forth by the police chief and also started for immediate approval. Is there a motion to take this out of order?
Move to take this item out of order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
Wally?
Okay, as far as our police management, we had budgeted for replacement of 2 squad cars in 2019. The 2 cars to be replaced, one is a unmarked 2009 Toyota Camry, which is a hybrid. It has around, it's probably pushing 110,000 miles. It's been a great car. The second one is a 2014 Ford Utility Police Interceptor. The 2 vehicles scheduled to purchase are a 2019 Ford Fusion Hybrid and a 2020 Ford Police Interceptor Hybrid Utility. Both these vehicles will be purchased under the state bid. The Fusion comes in at $25,125, and the Interceptor comes in at $39,390. By getting the hybrid version of the Police Interceptor, that's the standard car they're making now. You can still request the base model, but and it would be cheaper by about $6,000 or $7,000. But it seems that everyone's going towards these hybrid vehicles, and we expect that we'll be getting a lot better gas mileage for both vehicles. The Toyota right now is averaging, based on our fuel. Monitoring our fuel at Quick Trip, is getting about 32 miles a gallon, and the Fusion is expected to get 43 city and 41 highway. They actually get better highway or city miles than they do highway miles. And the Ford Interceptor, we're averaging around 8 miles a gallon on the mark squads now because they just do so much idling. It's expected to get around 24 miles a gallon. And the nice thing about the hybrid interceptor is that when it's sitting parked or on a scene somewhere, the engine shuts off as long as it maintains a certain level and it runs off battery. And then once the battery gets to a certain point, the engine will kick back on.
Any questions? So then, do we have a place where you plug in to recharge the battery, or how does that happen?
No,
Or
that
is
would be more of an electric car.
The engine just does
this
it?
This is a hybrid. It runs on the gas engine when the battery is below a certain level.
And then, but then it recharges
It
itself?
recharges based on the voltage that's made by the engine and
Okay.
also braking. I think the brakes that also push energy back into the battery to charge it up.
Okay. Chad?
I just want to say, I know this will probably be the last police vehicle that I'll be on the council to hear about, and I'm touched that we're buying 2 hybrids tonight, because I remember back in 2008 asking you if we might consider hybrids, and I think I was laughed out of the room, though you were kind. I just want to say that. You've always been kind and receptive, and I appreciate all that you do for us, and thank you for this.
Well, that was the year we budgeted. We bought the Toyota Camry and we bought the Honda Element. And the Element, it didn't go over too well, but it was functional for what we had it for. I don't know if you want to call Nancy up on the phone before you vote on this.
I know, it's too bad she's missing this.
She can always watch the tape, I guess.
Yeah. Alder Groupie, did you have?
Just a second. I commend the department for pursuing the hybrid technology, so thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Spate.
Aye.
Alder Wood.
Aye.
Alder Kitzlar.
Aye.
Alder Core.
Aye.
Alder Groupie.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Thank you.
Great, thanks. And we did look at electric vehicles too, and I think it's coming. I mean, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. So.
Okay. Great. Next item, 2E, consideration of resolution 19-2339, initiating planning for creation of tax increment district number 10, put forth by the city administrator, economic development director. Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. As I had mentioned in my memo in your packet, we have a request that's before the CDA for potential TIF assistance for a mixed-use apartment and commercial space project at Falcon Circle and Broadway Avenue. The CDA has probably got another meeting or so to review that before they make a formal recommendation to the City Council and to the Plan Commission. However, before any sort of tax increment could be considered for the project, we do have to look at establishing a new tax increment finance district. In this case, it would be number 10. That would include both the parcels that are under discussion and potentially some parcels to the west, adjacent to Pirate Island. What we're looking for tonight is a first read on the resolution that we would then bring back to you for a second read at your first meeting in April. This is the first step in a number of steps that would need to occur in order for us to actually formalize the TIF district. In doing anything tonight and in 2 weeks, it doesn't commit us in any way to any project or even finalizing the TIF district. It's just the first step in that process. This will have to go back to the CDA to get their recommendation on the exact boundaries of the TIF district as well as the particular project that they're looking at. And then we'll also need to go to Joint Review Board for their final authorization after the City Council has approved it. So we're looking at probably in August timeframe to get things to the point where we can submit to Department of Revenue for their actual finalization of the TIF district. But this is the first step in that process. So with that, I'll pause and take any questions that you might have on this.
Anyone? Alder Core?
I have one just for some historical background. I don't know if some of the more senior alders can speak to this, but when we did the TIF district for Trieste, was it considered to include those parcels that are now considering for parcel 10?
Yeah, if I may.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it was considered. It actually is in a redevelopment district. And I think the thinking was we didn't have anything before us. And in fact, now that the owner at the time vehemently opposed having it in a TIF district, and especially objected to having it declared blighted, even though that, there's a difference between the statutory definition of blighted and the colloquial understanding of it. So, but we didn't have a project, and there's really, you want to be careful about putting things in TIF districts and start the clock ticking. So.
Thanks. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Next item F, convene in closed session under Wisconsin statute section 19.85, paren 1, paren E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Excuse me, this is regarding the city facilities solar panels contract. And section 19.85, paren 1, paren C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. And this is regarding the hiring of the city planner, assistant economic development director. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Will clerk please call the roll?
Alder Groupie.
Aye.
Alder Spate.
Aye.
Alder Wood.
Aye.
Alder Kitzler.
Aye.
Alder Corr.
We're in closed session. Item H, discussion and possible action on items arising from closed session regarding the solar panels contract. Is there a motion?
I'll move to direct the city staff to explore 3 options being considered, and under no circumstances to consider acquisition until the city is provided the complete maintenance log.
Second.
I'm sorry, give me one more second here. Until the city is provided.
The complete maintenance log.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Brad. Next item, and this is started for immediate approval, consideration of Resolution 19-3-2340, approving an employment agreement for the position of City Planner / Assistant Economic Development Director, put forth by the City Administrator / Economic Development Director. Is there a motion to take this out of order?
Move to take this item out of order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Joan, do we need a roll call for this one?
Do we
No.
need a roll call? No, I
No.
didn't think so. Yep.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Reports of committees, commissions, et cetera. Alder Kitzler.
No report.
Alder Wood.
No report.
Alder Spade.
No report.
Alder Groupie.
Just a reminder that the Monona Public Library has a community survey that's both available in paper form at the library or on the library website. That's part of the library strategic plan, and the input from community members is intended to improve the library as a community resource looking ahead. There's also an opportunity to win a $50 Amazon gift card if you're chosen. So please fill out the survey.
When does that close?
I don't know.
It must be fairly soon, but
I think it
because they're
maybe
having
the end of the
community
month.
conversations in early April, I think.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask.
So
Maybe through the end of the month.
probably says on the Alder Spade.
I just realized with Alder Moore not being here tonight, I should say that the Sustainability Committee does have a survey as well that we're going to be asking citizens to fill out regarding their energy use. And I would encourage everyone to go on to the mymonona.com website and click on the link to that survey as well.
And that's on the sustainability page, isn't it?
It's on-
I think, or is it on
It's on
the?
there.
It's on the main page and
On the
on
main
the,
page as well.
yeah.
Yeah, we've put it out on Twitter the last 2 weeks. We'll put out another blast again this week as well.
Okay. And Alder Corr? No report. City Attorney Cole, do you have anything to report?
I would just point out the
rescue of the police and the fire department, and the private citizen of the dog struggling in the water. Thought that was great, and kudos to our department for doing that.
City clerk?
Getting there. Just again, announcing the use of Badger books at the April 2nd election. We're getting ourselves all trained up, ready to go. I think voters will really appreciate the efficiencies that are achieved using it, and your actual experience won't be much different than going to the poll books. You're going to be signing, stating your name and address as usual. Really, nothing changes too much, but you'll be signing on a touch screen rather than with a pen. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same. So, that's it.
City administrator?
Just a quick plug again for the April 11th Distinguished Volunteers event. Again, if you want to remind your committee members, if you haven't already, the event.
Okay. I had a couple things. First of all, thanks to Alder Wood for filling in for me as acting mayor while I was gone at the last meeting.
I would note we were done 12 minutes earlier than right now.
You beat, yeah. We are planning meet and greet for our new city administrator. It's going to be prior to the next meeting from 5 to 6:30. Here in the in the municipal room, we'll have some of the famous Kathy Thomas brownies and some coffee or something, and just a way for the public to come in and meet Brian. And I think he's going to try to organize an additional one at some point with the new city planner also sometime in the future. So we're hoping to keep the Finance and Personnel Committee agenda short for that. That night, so we start at 6:30. Eco Action Tuesday is on the 26th. I know this is a topic that a lot of people have been interested in. It's the one where they're discussing accessory dwelling units. That's here at the library at 6:30. Joan, the early voting has started. Is that correct? The early absentee voting?
Yep.
And I think we're open till 7 on this Wednesday and next Wednesday evenings for voting, as well as this Saturday morning until noon, if anyone's interested. I think that's everything I had. There are no appointments.
Did you want to mention we went to the Dane County Cities and Villages?
Oh, yes.
thing?
Alder Wood and I attended the Dane County Cities and Villages meeting last week. There was a fair amount of talk about the funding for roads from Dane County
Right,
and
the
jurisdictional
yeah.
transfer.
In particular, with the wheel tax that was imposed to pay for roads, seems like may or may not be used for that, being used for that. So.
Yeah, people are not happy about the jurisdictional transfer issue, which some of you, I'm sure most of you probably have heard of, which may affect us in some part, at least in terms of how the funding affects other projects that we're involved in. And there was also, they also did a presentation on University Year and asked us for a little input from Monona's experience. So, do you have anything else, Doug?
Well, they had the new Madison Sustainability
Correct.
Director was there and giving a good short presentation as well.
Yeah, she was just hired from the city of Middleton, so. Okay, there are no appointments. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 You want to